destination. All right. From the top.
Action.
Welcome to Aderjaeger, our first official session. Now I'm all screwed up. Well, that's a great way to start off.
Wow, we did it.
Yeah, okay. So let's just get down to how it goes. We've got 6 players with us tonight. We've got Darby playing Brita Lassau. We've got Kayla playing Elena of Arges. We've got Dan playing Orest Litovchenko. We've got Tyler playing Zygmunt Kachka. Correct?
Let's do this.
You got it.
Okay. We have Zach playing Bertolt Scheller.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Locust playing Jürgen. Ruter
I
Wolfson.
spent 2 on stamina and 2 on...
So, give me just a second here. I'm having problems with my mic arm. Okay, there we go. Hey, this is totally professional. Good lord, why is this doing this? So let us begin where we left off last night. You all had reached Forsheim and sort of delved into the quiet tavern side area of Forsheim, specifically taking reference in a small tavern named the Addled Adder. There was much discussion, but what it came really down to is that you had work to do in Forsheim. This was not a relaxation stop. You were told that a small adder, what they'd called a lindworm, but you all have known well enough not to follow such advice. Usually adders, even the smaller ones, are described as much larger. And thus we begin the morning at the inn, with you all beginning and preparing for battle. So who's the first up, and who's the most ready to go? What time would you all agree to start this fight?
Well, we were told to be ready at dawn, right?
Yes.
Then done.
So you all sleep in till dawn. No one's up earlier.
Zygmunt
That's what I'm.
We'll be up early to check in with the blacksmith and ready his spears, or his lances, not his spears.
Okay.
Bertolt will be up.
And saddle up Adalbert. No, you're fine. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Bertolt would be up around 5 a.m. He had taken care of his personal arms and armor, repairing them, making sure they were in fine shape the prior night. He would get a squire up, probably kick him out of bed to help them get his harness on. Putting on full plate by yourself is a little bit of a task, so you'd get ready to go for that.
Jürgen would probably be up early as well, not just to get himself into his Kletterpanzerung, but also to give absolution to anybody who wanted it, since he'd offered last night, but not really anybody had taken him up on it.
Brita would probably take him up on that. Just for the hell of it.
Bertolt, being the warrior god that he is, would also take it up probably almost every time.
Elena would go and cuddle her horse.
Orest would be up a little bit earlier, because even though his attempt to reach out to the pretty much local engineer guild didn't really yield any results, he still would kind of like to look at the maps of the region and compare it to essentially those projects that he was able to kind of make connections to the adder's appearance the night before.
Specifically, Eugene Sattler.
Yes, specifically Eugene Sattler's.
Well, since you were the first to follow that link, you actually notice that when you get up the next morning, one of the engineers you talk to is already talking to Arno. as you come downstairs, Helena is sort of behind the counter, but you can tell she's not quite awake yet, sort of absent-mindedly wiping down the counter. But you can hear the engineers talking about how the adder had done even worse damage than they expected. And in order to prevent a complete pressure loss of the west side of the town, you would have to manually shut off the steam vent. They're willing to off-pay quite a bit. About 300 Reichsgulden. Just for the danger of doing so alone.
So wait, so they're paying.
They're offering a job to Arno, and they're not being quiet about it.
Arno! Yes, what do these engineers need?
Orist, it's way too early to get into too much of a discussion, but let me put it this way. Apparently, when the adder went and destroyed the mills yesterday, it took out one of the steam pipes. Just completely destroyed it. And it's apparently venting pressure straight out into the west side of the town. In fact, you can probably see the steam cloud by now.
Mm-hmm. And that is the way we're headed, yes?
Well, yeah. That's where the adder is.
And thus it would in turn pose a danger to us as well as the town. The town.
For sure. I was actually just about to take the contract, unless you think it's too difficult.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. We should take the contract.
It's a dangerous job, but you're the one that's most qualified to be able to handle it. Do you think you can handle it?
I have looked a little bit about what the systems are, and I believe that yes, it is familiar enough to home that I believe I am capable. It would be helpful, engineer friends, if you could enlighten me a bit more about the system before I go in. I looked to ask a few questions, but I feel I got off on the wrong foot.
The engineer just kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, yeah, it was you. You were asking about Eugene." What do you want to know? I mean, it's a pretty standard core-based system. I mean,
standard core steam-based system brings to town, powers different devices, keeps civilization running, yes?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, I believe you also said, as I was looking into it, it is more advanced multiple core system? Part of new expansion?
We had just installed brand new mills up on the hill overlooking the town, but the wind power was not enough to manage the amount of output that we needed. So we had started running steam pipes up to them in the late fall. But unfortunately, with the cooling temperatures during the winter, we couldn't get enough steam pressure. There was not enough heat. It would just recondense and just flood the pipes. So we had to
set up a
install a second core. Yeah, it's just on the other side of the bridge. We actually built it into the support pillar for the bridge. We've got a guard tower on the other side, obviously. Yes. Can you imagine if someone tried to take the core? I mean, little.
You'd be without core, you'd be without bridge. Very dangerous for town.
Yes. Yes, it would be quite horrible. I mean, it'd be very hard to get one back. I mean, unless you've got one sitting around somewhere.
Well, hopefully in future, but not now. Mainly asking so that can avoid surprises.
I understand. It's not dangerous. In fact, I mean, it is. If you were to stand around in the steam, yeah, okay, you could definitely severely scald yourself. But there's no reason to be concerned about the core itself. It's quite well contained. It's double double walled, all copper. It was very expensive, but the mill produces such material that once the rivers thaw, we need that income. We need the mills.
All the more reason to make sure it is safe and back up and running. It is just to the mills. There are no secondary outputs, no other vents, no other destinations.
No, this is all brand new expansion. We just put it in, like I said, at the end of last fall. Well, we had one mill up and running. The other two were going to be piped in later this year, but it was producing twice the required output that we needed for the cost, so we were quite happy until we had that cold snap, and out of nowhere, an adder just came charging into the mills. We had no preparation. It's not an easily accessible area. It's got a cliff on one side, and it's only got 2 routes up and down. And below it, there's a old sort of dried out riverbed, but it's a relatively quiet area. It's not the deep forest or anything of the like. We've never had an adder be this bold. Not in Forsheim, anyway.
No,
Not in at least the last 100 years.
It is very out of place on many, many different... what is word? Many different levels. Which is why I ask questions.
Of course. Is there anything else you need to know?
So, other than it is the attack that made this damage, and that it was running fine and no other incidents beforehand, I think we can do this job and make sure that come spring your system will not tear itself apart.
Oh, no. We've one of the advantages of being a trade town, we have plenty of money to put into our infrastructure. But unfortunately, I need this taken care of today. If that valve isn't shut, we're going to have to shut the entire system down, and, well, that's money I can't afford to pay out.
We will take care of it. Even if the all fail-safes work, and even if it's just best case scenario, if something goes wrong, it adds new danger and new unforeseen circumstance to already dangerous hunt. I believe in best interest for town and for our group.
Yes, Orist. It's all right. Arno comes up and kind of pats you on the shoulder. We'll take care of it. Thank you, engineer. Thank you. And he kind of pulls you off to the side. Orist, just say yes and take the money. It's okay. You don't got to reassure him. I've told you this. It's all right.
Okay. We take money. We get the money.
We get the money. Well, we do the job, then we get the money. It's okay. You don't have to reassure them. We reassure them by doing the job. Right?
Yes, I will take care of it, Arno. And Oris nods and kind of continues to go back to his own preparations.
Okay. Is there anyone that wants to intercede with Arno before we head on out?
Elena would probably pop her head back in after she gets everything situated with her horse. Probably ask him, like, what in the world they were discussing, since she was out in the stables and couldn't really hear anything.
Well, then I believe that's between you and Orist.
Hey, Orist, what were you guys talking about?
There is issue with Steam Vent. Extra job, extra money for whole group, less danger.
Less danger, but additional job.
Oh, well, job is dangerous, yes. It is engineering job. You have my expertise, so it makes sense to do it. But in best case scenario, nothing happens save bad to the town. Many other options, fail safes or explosions or bad things with machinery in area that we are hunting.
So we're stopping explosions?
Stopping potential of explosions.
Ah.
Yes, but most importantly, I feel it adds more uncertainty to hunt if we do not take care of it. This machinery seems, at least in my opinion, already attracted Jaeger. Or attracted Adder. To town out of season, and if we leave B, it could cause more uncertainty, harder to track, harder on you.
That all makes sense. Well, then, I guess that's settled then.
Plus, more hikes gold in our pockets.
More gold for you. More gold for the gamblers.
All right.
Things that don't make sense when I say them out loud, but make sense in my head when I say them.
That's how it always is.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Brainworms in the Wilderness, as we have a hard time getting used to this format. I apologize. But we're going to have fun, so stick with us.
No, we're just going to get drunk, and then everything's going
to smooth out.
Now hold still there, Mountain. I'm going to stab you.
Helena, you look awfully pretty today.
Anyways, if no one has anything to do in the tavern, out front you'll probably find Zygmunt and Adelbert. And anyone else who really had no intention of joining the conversation with Arno and the engineer.
Elena would come out the front door, arms held high above her head, kind of like widely gesturing in a grandiose manner. Good news, guys. Orist has secured more money for us.
Oh, and how did he do that?
Arno walks up behind her. He did what? That was my contract. Don't give it to the strange foreign man.
But he's not that strange.
You're all strange. The only person who's not strange is Berthold, and I'm pretty sure he's insane.
Doesn't insane classify as strange?
What was my passion for killing these beasts strange?
Anyway, we all do our jobs, we'll all get paid. Why don't we just move along? Is there anything you all need in town before we head out?
How are our food supplies looking?
Well, according to the last inventory, we have about 10 days worth of food. Mostly hard breads and stocks.
How far out is the reported Lindworm?
Probably about a 5 to 15 minute walk outside the town gates. But it'll probably take us about a half an hour to get there.
It's that close? How come
Very
we
close.
haven't heard it stomping?
Because it happened before we got here. No one's been out to check on it since. The whole place is apparently filled with steam.
Sometimes I feel like I'm not paying enough attention. In
You probably
character.
aren't. You probably are not, but that's irrelevant. What it comes down to is that somewhere there's a beast. It's probably run off by now. We need to find out what damage it's done, do this little side job, and then go track down the beast for more significant pay. If it comes down to it, we ignore the side job and we just go for the beast. Is that clear?
As crystal.
Jawohl.
I'm not afraid of taking some extra money, but we're not really engineers, and that's their responsibility.
Why would you be afraid of money?
I'm not afraid of money. I'm just stating there's no reason for us to focus on a small valve when we could be trying to take down an adder.
Elena shrugs. But it's much safer to handle the engineering job than the actual adder.
Did you not hear what he was saying yesterday? What was the amount of gold you would get for this?
It's, if I had to guess, assuming that generally people overstate the size of them, I'd guess about 100,000.
And what were the engineers offering for the valve?
300.
Bertolt's not so good with math, but yeah, you go ahead and calculate that.
Well, it doesn't require calculation. It's my decision. So,
No.
what we're going to do is we're going to go on to our job. We're going to go see what we can do. And if it comes down to it, we'll do a good deed. How's that? Everyone agreed?
It sounds sensible enough to me.
Elena's just grumbling in the back and eye rolling at
Bertolt?
Yes.
Anyways, as you pass through the town, you can see it's a lot more lively than when you'd walked into town. The rivers had started to actually break this morning, so you see a lot of people have moved away from the center of town, out of the sort of refugee area and towards the docks area, all hoping to get a ride down to Call for the beginning of the mining season. It's actually fairly quiet compared to how you found it when you walked in. A lot less people, certainly a lot less younger men and women on the streets. Mostly older merchants selling, setting up their shops as the sun is just beginning to peek over the city walls. And as you're walking down the street, you see by the local magistrate's office, there is a group of people with metal boxes clasped around their head. Their hands sort of attached to the side.
Is this a strange sight, or?
It is a strange sight. Not so much that there would be prisoners, but this is a very specific and unusual kind of imprisonment. Instead of being, in stockades or something like that, these are literally stuck in a cage with a box secured over their head and their hands latched to the side of the box.
Are there any people nearby that appear to be in charge?
No one's really actively watching them. It's sort of an exposed cage.
So
Closed at
can
the bottom
can
and
we see
top.
their heads, or are their heads completely sealed by this cage?
They're completely sealed.
Elena would turn to Arno on her horse and kind of say a lot more quietly, "Is this a typical punishment in this town?"
No, that's not a punishment. Those are Waldschrat. The
Waldschrat.
wild men.
This should be put down.
They will be. But it takes a while for them to be properly disposed of. You can't exactly just go chopping on them. They don't tend to. They tend to become Dragar before we have anything we can do with them.
Are these the result of the Lindworm?
No, most likely not connected in the least. Waldschrat come from many sources, most of them unpleasant, and most of them much further away from here. Mountain men, hermits, people that have lost their mind already, seek comfort in strange places and come across, adder corpses or injured adders or even dormant ones and begin feasting on their flesh, trying to save their life. Unfortunately, it corrupts them, mind, body, and soul. Their eyes start to glow blue, their skin goes pale, and whatever sanity they might have had is completely lost. They lose the ability to speak our language.
Bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning, and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows, and destroy them. Send thine hand from above. Rid me, and deliver me out of great waters from the hand of strange children.
Yes. Come on, Jurgen.
Amen.
And yada.
Jurgen, as they're passing the Waldschrat in their chains, of course, he's prays, but as they're about to pass, just spits in the dirt in their direction before turning to continue walking.
Desperate man.
Elena would frown at Jurgen. Just ask him or tell him, those were once people.
Were once God's children, now they have turned away from his light. They deserve nothing more than sweet oblivion.
If they can save a sinner like you, surely the gods can save others.
If
There's
their
nothing
I don't
spirit
think
is
they have a
willing,
mind left to save.
one must want redemption to be saved. Those creatures, they want nothing but terror and sin.
I suppose.
They
As
worship
you-
false idols.
As you all are making your way through the Waldstadt are the last significant site in Forsheim, you then basically enter what feels like a long corridor of stone. It's the outer western wall of the town. On the other side, there are small barracks, and you can see guards are changing their shift just as the sun is peeking over. And from here, you can actually see a great cloud of both black smoke and white steam up on a hill, probably not more than a mile away. It is a massive cloud that seems to have been growing over the span of the evening. And now in the morning, with the temperature cooler than it was in the daytime, the sort of steam has built into sort of almost a white layer that is rolling down the hill towards the town. So, what do you feel is the best way to go? Do you want to go directly to the Millery, or?
Out of character, I think that would be a good idea, but since there is a big rolling cloud of steam, I think we might want to be a little cautious. This stinks of ambush.
As much as I have feeling that we should take care of Valve issue as soon as possible, look, it benefit for us. Get rid of cloud of steam, reduce any dangers of mechanical failure, get us back on task, yes.
We
Still,
should someone to scout ahead. I don't know why I
agree.
suddenly became Sean Connery there for a second.
There's a reason I just have given up on any sort of accent at all.
Yeah, I was not actually trying to. I don't know what happened there.
This is
I
a
forgive
much
you.
heavier accent, so I feel like every single time it's going to this accent is actively stealing from poor Pravana.
I've noticed a little, yeah.
No.
The characters are just gonna melt into each other. You're gonna have
That's a
like
weird-
one
that's a
boob
weird
and then
amalgamation.
she'll be good at horseback riding and
Either-
gun shooting.
Either way, this is not, it is out of season, it is out of place for the Lindworm, it is out of place for the Welshrat. It's many things suggest caution. Scouting, yes.
Alright, what would you suggest, Orist? You and your Polish friend are quite good with the horse. What would you recommend?
I would say we look to the area, take slow, move through the steam, stay at least in a group or two. Make our way to, if I can get to the breach and find the breach, it should not take long to fix. Then we can wait for steam to subside slightly and go to tracking.
I don't think it would be wise for you to travel alone. I don't know what lurks in this fog.
I agree.
So we go together then. Is anyone volunteering?
I will go
I'll
with him.
volunteer.
Oh right, I'm
Seems-
a push to talk, not voice activated. Yeah,
okay,
Zygmunt will volunteer.
We'll work all this out in time.
I mean, wait, hang on. Out of character. Does anyone need to stay behind, or can we just all fucking
You
go?
can all go if you want.
All right,
I
I'm
want to
in.
know how you intend to scout.
Elena turns to Jurgen since they both said it at the same time and says, Jinx.
Goodbye,
Ha!
Kayla.
You
You're
all-
no longer invited back.
You owe her coke.
What is Coke?
And that's when Jurgen has her lynched for pagan rituals and heresy. They just leave her swinging from a tree as they go into the smoke.
This has been Aderjaeger. Thank you for joining.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
I'm sorry.
Now,
I'm sorry.
Jay,
Let's
from
continue.
what? Well, I'll wait until this ends.
Maybe we shouldn't have streamed this. I don't know. No, go ahead.
So from what we would know of the Adder, like even the aggressive ones tend to try and hide, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, Zygmunt will kind of caution Oris, and basically say there's a very good chance that the Adder is within that steam cloud.
I agree. Plus, steam makes good habitat for this cold time of year. All more reason to shut off. Do
You
not
really
give-
think it has such intelligence that it would seek out the heat of the steam pipes? Arno asks, sort of bewildered.
It's where I'm from. Hunt is less dramatic climbing and more you and Adder seeing who loses against Mother Nature first. It's yes, they seek out advantages, and we need to take advantages away.
Bah. I don't think these beasts have that kind of thought process. Not once have I ever seen one seek a nice, quiet place. They always seem to find the most horrible, awful filled holes. This to seek out warmth and comfort? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No. But if it is warm, it will stay in the warmth. A beast may not be smart enough to seek out comfort, but once it's found it, whether by happenstance or awful coincidence, it will stay in such comfort.
The Adder are nothing if not adaptable.
Bah. You all give it too much praise, but alright, I'll take your lesson. Quickly, let's get to the mills and see what we can see. I don't think we're going to be able to see much from down here, don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Alright, so you're now heading uphill. Do you want to try to circle around? How would you like to approach? From the steam cloud side? From away from the steam cloud side?
Well, how close can we get to the mill without entering the steam cloud? Is there a route that'll get us as close as possible without going into the cloud before?
Of course. Oh, yes. I mean, it's sort of the steam, because it's cooler and the sun hasn't really come up, the steam's not really, like, lifting off like you'd expect a normal steam cloud to do. It's cooler, so it's kind of staying around the edge of the hill and flowing downwards.
Okay.
So if you follow the road up, you won't be in the steam cloud. Actually, because the steam pipe was below where the mill was, you actually will not have to be in the cloud if you approach. It's only if you try to go up and around, up the hill, basically. If you go up the road, you'd be safe. If you go up the hill, you won't be.
Then, out of character and in character, I'm going to suggest we go up the road to avoid being in the steam cloud as much as possible, because I don't trust what lurks inside of it.
I agree. Steam cloud gives us no advantage, only adds danger.
We don't know how hot that steam is, too. We don't want to hurt ourselves by accident.
Alright, well, if you all feel that's the best route, let's go up that way. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes trot. Everyone has your weapons and armor, right?
Why?
Aye.
Yes.
All right.
He is.
Oh, look at the dead
March-
bodies.
Oh,
Wow.
this is adorable.
Marching up the hill, you find the remains of the mill.
Oh no, there's a dead horsey.
There is indeed a dead horsey. Carts, bags of grain, and other goods stacked up. Blood has stained the ruins as there were many people working in the mill at the time of the attack. You don't have token control.
Are these footprints?
They look as such.
Why do you not have token? Oh, no.
Whoops, sorry.
Let me know if you can't move your token. Something is not working the right way.
Yeah,
I
I don't
can't
have
move my
token control.
All right.
But okay. Ooh,
Yeah,
There
it's
will be
weird.
some technical difficulties.
Yes, tonight is most assuredly some technical difficulties. But that's okay. This is the first session. That should be working now, Locus.
I can see the tag. I still can't select it.
What do you mean you can't select it? It's not letting you?
Yeah, it will not let me click my token.
Oh, this is gonna be one of dim nights.
Darby, how
I
many
can move
songs do
my-
you know?
What?
Okay, that fixed it. Now I can select it. Oh,
That's not
wow.
Wait, that's not appropriate, but talking about boobs is.
Boobs are totally appropriate to the setting.
All right. Well, excuse me. This is a problem that I don't know how to solve, but I will take off my shirt and see what happens.
I can move my token now.
Okay, is that fixed? Everyone? can
I can't move.
do- Okay.
You should probably go to a hospital for that.
I also cannot
Oh.
see Elena's tag.
I can see my tag for myself. I can't see Oris' tag.
I can see everybody's except for Oris and Elena's.
Yeah, same.
I can
see
see
mine.
everyone's.
I can move now. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, Lockheed can move, you just can't see. There we go.
We're all running
the
off.
heroes
The
ghost.
heroes arrive on the scene and nobly shuffle around in the circle.
We'll
The sight
be
of blood
completely
has them
frozen.
dancing.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm
We're
regretting.
Yeah,
fucking
I can see
adults.
Elena's tag now.
I cannot. Yeah, I still can't see Oris' tag.
It would not
Oh yeah, I
be,
can't see his tag now.
It would not be the first stream if something bad didn't happen.
It is not
There we
saving
go,
my
there's
his
inputs.
tag.
There we go.
There, fixed.
Perfect.
Yeah,
We
that
did it.
required multiple inputs for the same thing. Okay.
All right.
Yes, those do seem to be footprints. At the very least, they are large depressions in muddy ground that has dried.
Elena would
Guys,
go
I think it went this way.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I've been so useless. I just wanted to help.
Rocket's not here.
No.
I'm
Give us
sorry.
the lion
Obviously,
instead.
Brita, I'm going to need a sanguine roll for that to convince people. That's actually no. I'm just kidding.
Oh, fuck you.
This massive like tint of red, that's like blood pooling,
Yes.
or is okay.
It's dried. Yeah.
It's all dried, but it's a massive amount of blood. Sorry, I thought I heard my cat. Elena would walk up to the blood and get down on her, or kneel at least, to get a closer look. It appears that this is way more blood than a person could lose.
Oh, it's
Wanna
hard.
roll something to determine what it could be.
Sure. I would love to roll a thing. Hold on. What would I roll?
Well, unless you have a
Melancholic?
move. Yes, it should be melancholic, which is calculating methodical.
I don't know if that did anything.
No. It's just a lot of blood.
I see red, guys. There's a lot of red.
You and me, we're the best detectives they've got.
Could be a large group of people or livestock. It's definitely not the linvo. It's not blue.
No.
But surely, with the number of people laying around, this is a lot of blood to lose in this particular area, and there's only... There's no footsteps going away except for the one step, or the one set.
Are we certain that we don't see any human footprints around, or do we see so many?
Oh,
that it's hard to...
there are so many human footprints. This was an active work site. There was literally a mill building right here on the edge of the hill that ran multiple milling stones and a massive steam-powered axle.
We cannot... We may be dealing with a drug, or if the adder has exerted its foul influence upon the dead. We're going to want to gather up as many bodies as we can find and have them burned while the Polak fixes the steam.
Excuse me?
I mean, he might help.
But
Oh, sorry, I mixed up my
I'm no engineer.
foreigners. My bad. Out of character, my bad. I genuinely mixed that
Yeah,
up.
that's fine.
We should scout the surrounding area. This doesn't look like a typical accident. There's too many bodies. There's blood everywhere. What steam causes blood to just...
There was no
Cool in
accident. An
places.
adder rampaged through here.
Do adders eat people?
No, but they turned them into drug.
Do you see any drug?
No, and that's what concerns me.
Then we should
Oh.
scout.
For Christ's sake. How large is that cloud down there? You think it could be hiding in there?
The cloud is quite large because of the drop-off right below where the mill building is. This cloud on this corner of the map is probably about 300 to 400 feet long.
Well, I know if I had turned into a drug, I would certainly want to go into a steam. That certainly
Anybody-
would help my skin.
Anybody have a longbow?
I have a gun, don't I? Yeah, I have a gun.
I need something that
Archibald.
marks.
Arch
have-
can't help you there.
I have hunting bull.
You're a better shot than I am. Launch one of that, see if we can blink it off the thing. I will not be surprised by wandering down there and bumping into the damn thing.
So you're gonna attack the darkness?
I cast magic missile at the darkness.
Attack the Darkness is one of my favorite emo albums.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Don't
whoa.
attack
Why
the
are we
darkness.
attacking darkness?
Yeah, leave her alone.
Not only that, but when did this suddenly become a Kingdom Hearts campaign?
Oh my god.
It
this is
started
very
when you walked
many
away and you couldn't hear me
directions.
say.
Oh my
Damn it.
god.
Oh my
God
god.
damn
It took me a couple of seconds to get that, and I hate you so much
Jay?
right now.
Jay, you remember
Yeah.
when we were sitting down and it was just you and me in the voice channel earlier this evening, and I mentioned I was going to have a drink while we were having game. And you said to me, do you really need to drink for game? Yes. Yes, I do, Jay.
Yes,
And
you
this
do.
is why.
I do too.
Please, oh baby, don't go.
All right, Orist is going to look around to see if, because this is a mill, to see if there's any kind of burlap or heavy canvas nearby outside of the steam.
Oh, in absolute massive amounts. Probably 60, 70 bags of burlap. Most of it's filled with milled flour at this point, but it's there, and you've got some unfilled bags lying next to it.
He pretty much walks over and... Kind of how thick is it?
The burlap?
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy-duty, coarse burlap. It would be very uncomfortable to wear, but it would certainly hold heavy material pretty well. You could fill it with stones or what have you.
He is going to pretty much find a sack or two, take out his knife, cut it open and kind of make a drape to give himself some measure of protection from the steam.
Okay.
Won't that just get wet and then
Yeah.
will burn?
It is fairly high temperature steam. Now it just becomes it basically becomes Florida as you get away from the pipe. But you know, which is to say hot,
Yeah.
humid and uncomfortable. And that's what most of it's like. It is uncomfortably hot and moist, but it's not necessarily damaging. Only if you're like directly in line with the steam pipe itself.
Elena would pick up a piece of stone and move with it towards the pipe, thereby blocking most of the dangerous heat. And
With a
deflecting-
rock?
Yeah, with a rock.
How big
But
is this pipe?
I think I need to clarify. The pipe is about 10 feet across.
Elena suddenly has the strength of 50 men.
I was like, wait a minute.
If we go directly by the map, it's 6 foot across. You could walk inside this pipe.
Yeah.
All right, so
How many
okay.
bodies can you stuff in it?
He is still going to, he is
Lots.
still going to maybe not to make a drape, but still cut it some open and kind of put it over shoulder. Gather up some rope, and around here before going in there, is there any big sturdy looking kind of branch or pole or some piece of debris?
Oh, sure, yeah. There's literally parts of the building that were broken off that are... I mean, they're sound, but, you know, they didn't survive the... obviously, a gigantic tail or face slamming into it. So you can get a pole probably about 2.5 inches thick and probably about 8 feet long without too much trouble.
All right, he is going to grab one of those.
Okay.
All right. Let us be careful, but I need to be able to get in there to see what I can do about this steam.
All right, now how are you approaching this steam? Are you going to go down the hill, or are you going to walk on the pipe?
Well, first, pretty much he's going to, pretty much he is going to see, I mean, so it's pretty safe to get over to the pipe. Is anything obscuring it there, or?
No, you could, here, let me use,
So is this like a little slope that we could walk down?
Yes, yeah, you can walk,
Okay.
this whole area is clear. You could walk all the way to it, and then you can
Oh,
walk
okay.
out to the pipe. Now, it's probably a 3 or 4 foot drop between the top of the hill and the top of the pipe, but nothing
Okay.
that would be impossible. The valve is a massive valve, but it is definitely something you could approach.
All right, is there anything that it looks like Oris could tie himself off to here?
There's some small foundation pieces left that you might be able to tie around. It wouldn't be a terribly secure tie-off, but it's certainly something that you could attach it to. It would hold your weight. But again... Go ahead.
Can I just interject? Is there a fucking valve on top of that pipe that we
Yes.
could turn off?
Right here. If it'll let me ping it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I was looking at that. I'm like, can we not just turn the pipe off?
You'd have to walk out to it, yeah. It's
Okay,
kind of
well,
hanging
Burrito
out
would-
about 20 feet out in the air.
Right, but I mean that's a little better than just like, let's brave the steam.
Well,
Sure.
So-
that's what Oris is attempting to do right now.
Well, I will shut
say-
right up then. Carry on.
Hence why he's asking if he can tie himself off somewhere. All right, he's gonna do
Can
it.
we get someone? Can we get another one of us to just hold the end of a rope
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Who else is big?
Zygmunt will help
I'm not
hold
big.
the rope as well.
Couldn't you tie the rope
In
to
fact,
Adalbert? He's not.
Yeah,
gonna
so
move.
yeah, Adalbert can hold the rope. Really.
Yeah, he's kind of the biggest out of all of us.
Yeah.
All right, Oris first holds his hand kind of near the pipe to see how hot it is.
Oh, the pipe is absolutely scorching, but as long as you're not like crawling on it on your hands, it probably is not going to be much of a threat to you. I would like to state that Arno is simply standing there, slightly bemused at all of you.
All right, so Oris is going to tie himself off, take his pole, and just, yes, Zygmunt, Bernhold, could somebody hold rope?
Yeah. So Adalbert will have the lifeline basically, but Zygmunt will help hold it like halfway down.
All right, just before he goes out, Oris is going to do a quick kind of survey of the pipe to see kind of how bad the damage is, and just to see that it's pretty much just, this is the break. If this is shut off, it would be fine from this vantage point.
Right, yeah, the high-pressure steam is going outward from the break, not around you. Now, there is steam. It's not going to be a comfortable walk, and the pipe will be slippery. But it is not a... You're not going to burn your feet through it. It's not that hot.
He throws out his sectioned off burlap to try to get it over some of the pipe.
That's actually a good thing. You're just throwing the burlap on the pipe?
Yep, he's kind of flattened out some bags by kind of cutting them open and just kind of like blankets them out over as far as he can.
Yeah, that's actually a very good thing. You've not only negated the kind of slipperiness of it, but you've actually made it a little easier to walk on because you're getting traction now between the soles of your feet and the smooth pipe.
And then he pretty much takes another bit and tries to give it a toss out close to where the end of the pipe is.
You just throw in the rope?
Not the
Or
rope,
you
just like another kind of, he like maybe tightens it up into kind of like a...
I mean, you could probably just carry it over your shoulder and then lay it out in front of you.
Okay, yeah, that's what he does. That's way smarter.
Get up there.
And then he's going to go about tied off with his pole and some burlap over the shoulder and start making his way out on the pipe.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you a +1 on this, but I will need you to roll a dexterous and reflexive graceful phlegmatic roll.
Ooh, yeah,
But I will give you a +1 on that.
it is my worst stat.
Well, you're not tinkering, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, did you get the +1 for that?
I did not. I just pressed the button.
Then that passes. That's a 7.
Okay.
That is a partially succeeds in that case. As you're actually walking, you're generally able to make it quite far, but as you get closer and closer to the valve, you can feel the heat really start to burn at your face and your hands. It's very hard to focus. In fact, it's very hard to see much of anything in the fog at this point. You know you're near the valve, but you're not quite sure.
Alright. He takes his pole to try to tap out and find his way.
Okay. As you're sort of banging around, you hear dunk, like sort of hollow noises, dunk, dunk, and then finally you hear a tink, the sort of the high-pitched metallic clang of the pole hitting something that's actually solid and metal. Not a piece of pipe, but something like a bar of metal.
Right, he kind of gets closer to investigate to see what it is.
As you kind of get in, you realize it's actually lower to the pipe than you expected. It's not a proud valve like you would probably have had back in your hometown. It's a sort of it seems whatever it is very close to the surface. And as you lean in, you realize it's not a valve. It's actually a sword that's been stuck into something further down the pipe.
He pretty much shouts out, "I have found sword!"
You what?
He's found a what?
You mean the valve?
No, a weapon.
You're using it as a weapon?
So there is a weapon jammed in. All right, so is it? So it's jammed into something in the pipe.
It's jammed into something forward of you, further into the steam cloud.
All right, he kind of more cautiously moves forward.
Okay. As you are cautiously moving forward, do you want to like use the pole to keep from bumping into something too heavily?
He's kind of using it like a cane to.
Well, you're not able to go that much further. The sword handle that you kind of found with the ping was actually stuck into a small ring valve just in front of you now. It is a fairly squat, unimpressive valve, but it looks like someone had tried to use the sword to get leverage on the valve to turn it off. Obviously, the valve is somewhat sticky.
Ugh, sword, not good leverage. Not like Orist's mighty pole.
Oh my,
my
god,
God.
it was a matter of time.
Somewhere, Helena blushes. So
Elena just jumps off of the... I don't know, is there a cliff nearby?
Bye.
Yes, you can jump into the steam if you want. You are going to need to give me a choleric roll if you have a chance.
Bye, Elena.
And mark XP for it.
So is your pole an item of note?
No, it is not. What is this for? Something in particular, or?
This is to turn the valve.
Yes, to use the pole essentially to find leverage. He's going to spread out his...
Because without it, you couldn't turn it.
Yeah, he's going to spread out kind of the burlap he brought with him close by to once again kind of get some traction. And then he is going to give it a turn.
I have to ask, are you trying to be quiet at all?
He is not. But,
Okay. That
Clearly.
becomes painfully obvious as you attempt to wrench the valve open. Your grunts and groans and it banging across, and you hear sort of a quiet murmur, and the steam kind of ripples in front of you.
Is everything okay out there?
The valve is stuck, but
What do you mean it's stuck?
it means somebody has done something to tamper with valve before. And he kind of will take his pole out and kind of maybe where the steam rippled, once again use it to tap.
There's nothing there to tap. It's just open air. Now, it's hard to tell how far off the ground you are, but you can guess about 20 feet.
All right. He just pretty much goes, "If I say so, get ready to pull, Zygmunt."
All right. Then Zygmunt just puts a hand near Adalbert's rump. He gets ready to slap him.
And he's going to try to close the valve again.
Okay.
Another roll.
Well, I want to ask you something before
Yes,
you
yes,
roll.
yes. This time I will
So
let you...
I'm going to bring the viewers in so they understand. This is really our first time going full into the mechanics. We had a half session, and now we're really getting onto it. You're an engineer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tinkering is kind of your thing, right?
Oh, you're right. I could be rolling with that.
Yes.
All right. If this case, rather than kind of just going the brute force method, he is going to... So yeah, you're gonna have to... Exactly how would I go about to do this if Orist is going to, rather than just brute force it, see exactly, essentially how this valve has been broken, and see if there's anything he can kind of...
Well, you've
do
got
on
the
the-
standard tinkering concepts of if it doesn't move, lube it, basically. Not to give Orist
Yeah.
another double entendre, but that
Oh
is
my God.
that is the basic idea behind it. Is that if you
Please
can't
lube
get
up
it to
your
move on its
steamy hot
own,
pole.
maybe it needs lubrication. Maybe you can try that. If leverage isn't working, the next step is lubrication. If that's not working, then you may have to try to build some way to get additional leverage, more than your 8-foot pole would provide you.
I'm just picturing Helena like fanning herself in the background here.
Orist kind of looks and thinks, and then, is it going to be too much of an effort to get off, to kind of get off the pipe and get back for a second?
It's not an easy walk, but it's
Yeah.
not impossible by any means. I'm still going to give you the +1 for using the burlap.
I think that,
That
okay,
was smart.
yeah. No, I actually think that Orist, let's see what I have on me that could be used as lub.
Do you need help?
No,
Orist has disappeared into the steam for several minutes at this point.
Orist, make sure that the pretty much the pole is very, very secure and kind of in there good with leverage. And then he unties his safety rope and ties it around the pole
Okay.
in a way so
you-
that it pretty much would be, if it got pulled, then it would be pulling it in the right direction.
Right.
And then he's going to kind of grab onto the rope and just kind of make his way back.
All right. Give me a phlegmatic, please. You do get a +1, but you are walking through a steam cloud on a slippery pipe, even with burlap.
Holding a rope.
Well, okay, if you're holding the rope, that's different.
Yeah,
Okay.
so now it's a rope secured in 2 areas.
All right, then you don't have to give me a roll for that. That's basic enough. It's difficult, but you'd be able to make your way across. Now, when it was just around your waist, that was different. That's not being able to be used as another point of control.
Pretty much, yeah. He goes, he makes his way back, and then looks to Zygmunt. We pull the rope. If does not work, we have Adelbert help. Good horse.
All right.
All right.
And he is going to use... First, it's going to see if just Zygmunt and Orist pulling together can get it going. And
Okay.
if not, he's going to pretty much tell Zygmunt to, have Adelbert start to pull as well.
Yeah.
Well, first we're going to have Zygmunt roll a helping roll.
Okay.
You have a +2 to
I-
it because...
So I need to put this in here, I think.
And then put a 2 in and roll it. And if you succeed, you do. So, you actually get to, according to how this is set up, you can add or subtract 2 from their roll. So, I'm assuming you'll want to add.
I would like to add to the roll, yes.
So, now you're going to roll choleric, Dan. And you get
plus
2 to
2.
that. So, that succeeds.
All
Okay.
right, let's see if this makeshift device pulls it open. Or closed. I can't remember what we're trying to do.
Can I close?
You're trying to close it,
Okay.
because right now it's spewing steam.
Yes, we're trying to close it.
As you all give it a good heave-ho, the 2 foreigners to this land are able to get, finally, the leverage they need on the valve, and with sort of a creaking, almost cracking noise, the rust or whatever had been inhibiting the valve gives way, and the rope goes slack, and both of you fall to the ground, standing on the hill, overlooking the hill. There's sort of a poof, 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 as the steam kind of stops exiting and pressure drops from the pipe, and there's a sort of a almost guttural growl that shakes the ground going through the entire area. And a gray form lifts up out of the steam.
Well, that's not good.
This is what
What
we're
did
here
I
for.
tell you? The damn thing was there all this time!
Pointing from the... Lifting straight out of the hot steam that had filled the valley below the pipe, a sharp-nosed lindworm raises its head
Oh, it's cute.
above the group.
Like
I
a
think
pangolin.
so, yeah. It's
Like
exactly
a giant,
like-
angry pangolin.
Yes, that was the inspiration.
Let's go kill it.
It has no eyes, but it turns towards you, and there's a sort of an almost... It almost feels like an earthquake as all the plates on its back vibrate against it and sort of make everything shake in rhythm around you. There's a stomping sound as it gets its feet beneath it, and it turns, and its tail flings out behind it, dispersing the steam in a 360 radius around it, as it leans down as if to charge at you.
Oh shit.
Forget the bodies. Prepare yourselves for combat.
Zygmunt mounts Adalbert, cuts loose the rope.
Elena's already on Costell at this point.
Rita's, I'm assuming she had her, what is it, an arquebus, is that the word?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm a fucking pilot in the other roleplay. I have an arquebus in this. I have no idea what my characters know so well.
As you
Shucks.
all steady yourself for combat, the adder bends its head down, and that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Oh,
Okay.
A little early, but
Good stopping point.
this is the best place for us to stop for tonight. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll have a lot more to come in the future. Hopefully a little smoother. But there's still a lot to be done and a lot to happen in this setting. So thank you all for watching tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
bye.
Have a good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Night.